people, this is when people are speaking. Is this fine right now? Perfect. So when people are speaking, right, what they're usually doing, and again, I'm just going in very in depth right now, but so what people are usually, when they're speaking, let's just say you say, hey, do the open. Okay, well, what they're going to do is they're going to think about what to say. That's the problem, is most people think about what they're going to say. So when you get on when they get up there and they're speaking, you're like, hey, go do the open. Hey, go do the open, or go up there and do the edification, or edification. Go up there and do the products. Go up there and do whatever. What's going to happen is they're going to go up there and they're going to think about what they say, and then they freeze because they don't know what they're going to say. And a lot more of the anxiety kind of comes from actually. A lot of their anxiety comes from is now they're nervous, and it's hard to really remember things when you're nervous, and so now they start forgetting because they're thinking about what to say. But what professionals do, and think about this is what you guys all do, and that don't even know it probably at this point, when it comes to the presentation, is you think in stages. Right? So this is why most people forget why they're going to say, and why people like us, when we're doing the presentation, we don't for the most part. And so how we think about it is, and that's why I think about it, that's why this is broken down into stages. It's not on the presentation, it's not broken down into what we're going to say. It's broken down into, we say you have the opener, right? Then we say products, right? Then close. So it's stages. It's always going to be stages. Now you zoom in more, just like you always do almost with everything, you just dig in a little bit deeper. So it's not about what the opener necessarily is going to say. It should be the stages of what the opener is going to say. So for example, let's do the products because it'll be easier. So for example, let's just say, hey, the Forex market is a $5.3 trillion industry, right? So most people are going to say $5.3 trillion industry, right? $5.3 trillion industry per day, right? It's the biggest market in the world, and let this represent a sentence. Okay, that's what most people are going to do, and they're trying to think about what to say on these sentences. But what we're supposed to do is this. What we're supposed to be thinking is, okay, products. Let me talk about Forex. Let me give them the intro on Forex. Make them aware of what Forex is. So it's just going to be, what's the word I'm looking for with Forex? Like what would you do when you go up there for Forex? I can't think of it right now.
How's it work?
How's it work, right?
Example? Yeah, like Mexico.
No. That's what we don't want to do. What?
The definition of Forex, or like?
Just like when you go up there, how does it work? Okay, that's one stage, right? Next one will be, after that, it'll go into education, right? After that, what's going to happen is it's going to go into what? It's going to go into, after education, it'll go into the products, okay? After the products, it's going to,
Pricing.
It's going to go, products, then it goes into pricing, exactly. Then they edify, and then they're done, right? But meanwhile, what they're not thinking this.
Yeah.
They're thinking, what am I going to say? How the fuck are you going to remember a 15-minute presentation? So now get this though. If you think in stages, okay, so how does Forex work? Now these people are able to tap in a lot quicker. Mm-hmm. So you think in stages, you're thinking now, so how does Forex work? Okay, so the way Forex works is, it's a $5.3 trillion industry per day. It works pretty much like the stock market. You're making money off the fluctuations. If you go to the pesos, blah, 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 right? Our company, what our company does is now I'm thinking about the stages. So all I do is after I know what stage I'm on, right, I'm flowing through it, right? That's how many of you guys are already when it comes to this, but I'm also teaching why it is that people get nervous or why people aren't speaking correctly. It's because you're not supposed to really be thinking about what you're going to say. If you think about what stages you need to be thinking of, then you'll naturally know what to say, right? Because you've already studied enough to do that. Now you'll be able to flow. Then you go to the edification, boom, and then you're out. So for example, when I go up there, I always start off with the, hey, what's up, y'all? And I start off with my intro, right? I go to my intro, hey, what's up, guys? My name is, Cash Cartier. I've been doing this for blah, blah, blah. So I start off with myself. And the next thing is I want them to take a look at society, for example. And then I have another phase. And I just flow through that. And through this, you just kind of want to transition. Now get this. This is my point. So this is just, in general, why people that are new are not speaking correctly. I guarantee you, if people were to start thinking in stages, man, it's a whole different thing. Now here's my point with you guys. So that's good for you guys to know, so you can teach it, duplicate that. But this is why you guys, you guys are doing when it comes to trainings, and what happens is it seems like you're just all over the place, all right? And the reason why is because you're going on there with literally no stages. So you have no stages when you're speaking. You're just going up there and thinking, like, I'm gonna get on there and just maybe not think about maybe you're not thinking now at this point, what am I gonna say? But you're also not thinking, what are my stages, right? So you're going on there and you're just like, you just get on there and you're just like, I'm just gonna throw a train, and you're just throwing a rant, and then now you just sound like you're ranting, and it doesn't. And so the reason why my trainings are so bam, 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 bam is because what do you see me do on the whiteboard right before training? I'm writing down my stages.
Yeah.
So I'm literally saying, so I'm literally going on there. I'm like, okay, I need to touch up on, what is it? I need to touch up on, let's just say leadership. Okay. What are some problems or trainings I would talk about?
Ego.
Phase 1.
Ego, right? Phase 1.
IG.
Phase 1, right? IG, okay? Okay, cool. Give me one more. Just taproot. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so now this looks like bulletins, but what I'm saying is this really is what it looks like.
Eek.
Yeah.
Right? And then tap. And so now what happens is, and just because this fell up, it's not the end here, I want you to get the point. Now what happens is this. So when you guys get on there, right, you're just, you know what I mean, and one topic's leading to another topic, or one point's leading to another point, and then you're kind of flowing off of what you're saying, and you're just going off of what you're saying. And it's almost like a conversation with someone. If we sit in the room, like if you really watch a conversation in the room, like just a random one, it doesn't matter what it is, you're never going to stay on it. You might be talking about a car, and then all of a sudden you're talking about being in Texas, and then all of a sudden you know what I mean, then all of a sudden you're talking about swimming, then all of a sudden you're talking about the weather, then all of a sudden you're all over. It's just like when people are talking, they're vibing. Now my thing is you're doing the same thing when you're speaking, because now, oh man, let me get on this point, let me talk about that point, and now you're just all over the place. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's what you're doing. But what you want to do is you got to get straight to the point. So what you want to do is, what is Jordan Belfort? What? Straight line persuasion. Okay, point A to point B. Point A to point B, right? And so what you want to do is this. Okay, so what you want to be doing is, let this be the open of the training, and let this be the end of the training, right? And so what you should be really doing is actually, you know what? Sorry. I want to do it like this. So, point A, right? B. So, now look, dotted line means we want to stay on topic. So let this be, right? Let this be your guideline. Okay, I'm kind of going off a little bit, and you gotta make sure you're aware. This is awareness right there. Okay? So now what most people are doing, they're not thinking point A to point B because they don't know what they're gonna say anyways. So they're just out here. And that's what you sound like. You're just out there.
Yeah.
You're just on a training. You're just giving one. You're just doing, but you're not. Wait, think about this. How are you gonna take over? If I said go launch a market, what's the first thing you should do?
Put it out.
Huh?
Put it out.
Yep. So plan it. Fuck you.
My bad.
No, I'm glad you said that. No, it's funny. You're good. So the first thing you should do is game plan it out. So you have a game plan for everything. You have a game plan for finances. You have a game plan for your goals. How do you not have a game plan for your training?
Wow.
Man.
You have no game plan for your training. So you're giving on a training to give a game plan on the training, but you didn't have a game plan for the training before you gave it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go on there, hey, it doesn't make any sense. You're just getting on there. So you really, now you think about it, my point is you have no point.
So there's no objective.
There's no objective.
Yeah.
You're not, what are you attempting to get done when you get on the training? Like, you gotta be thinking that. If you think about it, doesn't that sound fucking crazy? That you're getting on there with no game plan? And you have no point of why, what did you just say? The last thing you just said?
There's no objective.
There's no objective. So you're literally going on the training with no objective, so why are you on there?
Yeah. That's why your trainings are so memorable, because like taproot, I know at the end you're talking about reverse taproot and the mindset. It's like it makes it where it sticks.
Exactly. So I'm flowing. So now you plug this in, right? And again, now it's just leadership's on the line, ego. So I'm staying on my line, and then you'll see, okay, I think I'm done, blah blah blah, and then I knock it down, right? And so I'm like, boom, next flow, boom, and now all I'm doing is I'm transitioning.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And that's why you always say, I don't train unless I see if there's something I need to train
And
on. So
exactly.
now there's an objective on why you need to train.
Exactly. And I go to point A to point B. It's really, what is it? Think about this. What is a training? It's really a game plan. It's a game plan for, you're given a game. It's a solution. It's to fix something or keep something the way it is, but it's a game plan nonetheless.
Wow.
So you can't. What we're doing on a training is we're sitting like, okay. So at first, what happens is when you plan to take over the city, we start off with just a couple of leaders, right? Okay. When you plan on taking over a country, you don't go tell the troops right away. You sit with all the leaders, and then you go tell the troops what the game plan is. So my point is when we got on training, we're still in the little fucking tent, right, on the battlefield, right? Now we're just addressing the masses, right? I want you to think about Hitler, for example, when you see him with he's speaking in front of fucking hundreds of thousands of people, and he's speaking or whatever. He's giving them the game plan on there. You know what I mean? For all these people in Germany and all the Nazis. He's giving them what the game plan is, but they thought about it before there. So he's getting on there to have a point of where he's going. So do you have a point? And that's why, you should be able to identify, and it's like, say it again, I forgot what you said. Objective. You should be able to identify the objective, or identify what's needed in your business. And now your job as a leader is to, and I almost want you to look at it like this. Now, let this be the straight line to success, right? So this is a straight line to success. So now we all know success is like this. Okay, well, as a mentor, what's our job to do as a mentor? 100%, exactly. So we want to get them from point A to point B, right? It's to cut the learning curve, get it done. So we want to give them in a straight line to success. That's what a mentor does. So instead of everyone having to go through all this, we're just like, no, let's knock that down. Let's knock that down, right? No, I already went through that. No, I already learned that. Don't go that way. And now it starts becoming a little bit more and more straighter right there, right? So now, here's my point with this. Now, if this is a straight line of success, right? Look. Now, let's just say you have an ego problem. You have IG problem or phase 1 problem, right? Okay, you have a leadership problem. What is this called right here? What are these?
Gap.
Your gaps. So you have your gaps. As a leader now, you're trying to go there, but now there's gaps. What's your job as a leader to do? See, it's problem solve. You have to be able to see that problem and fill the gap, and that's what the training is for. Training is to fill the gap. That's what I'm doing as a leader. I'm plugging the hole. I see the crew. I have to be the captain on the ship, and then also at some point I gotta be like, okay, you know, we don't have like if we're the captains on the ship, we don't, you know, in this business we don't have a little indicator that's saying, hey, you know, you need to do a training on ego. Hey, you need to do a training on phase 1. What is the indicator that we have? Awareness is the only indicator that we have. That's why you have to be aware that there's a hole in the ship because you're not going to have an indicator going on. So you have to be aware. You have to be aware that there's a hole in the ship so you can plug the hole. Because what everyone else is doing is, let's just say everyone else is at war. As a captain, it's a little bit different. If everyone else is at war and they're focused on fighting and gunshots and all this other shit, I don't want anyone else to think about the hole in the ship. Right? Why would I? Because now what they're going to do is they're going to panic or whatever, or I'm taking their eye off the prize to go plug the hole when me as a leader, I can go plug the hole for them and keep the shit going while we're fighting, right? So that's how I'm looking at it. So you want to be able to, It's fucking hilarious, man. You've got to be able to be thinking like that. Awareness is your indicator, and that's why you'll hear me say what I'm like. Oh man, I need to go through a training right now. Why? Because I just got slapped by God, all right? And he's like, throw a training on this right now. Like pretty much, I had these random epiphanies, and it's pretty much like something that's like, man, I just now realized our team was not doing this. I got to do training right this second. This is what it is.
Like right now.
You know? Yeah, exactly. Like right now. Shit, that's why we're here. So I wasn't even planning on doing this. So this is what's fucking key, is that you plug these gaps and help take your team in a straight line. Now my thing is as a leader, right? You guys are, you know, everyone in here is like 2Ks, etc. So here's my point: how are you guys having no training? You're having no trainings, right? So if you have no trainings going on, then there's just holes there, and it's like that gap is always going to be there. It's always going to be there if you're not doing that. So the point is start when you do your trainings, have an objective to your trainings. Or if you don't have an objective, don't throw one, right? But you guys don't throw enough, so that tells me you're not aware, right? You're not aware. You also don't want to be overtraining. The reason why people overtrain, right? The reason why people overtrain is because they're not aware. And they have no objective. What they're doing is they're just getting on there because they feel like they should be doing something. But they don't know what it is. And the reason why they don't know what it is because they don't have a game plan. So they don't know it. That's why they're just doing it to do it. But they're like, I know. So now it's like, okay, you're on the ship, you're a captain. I know something needs to be done. So I'm just going to start cleaning. Right? I'm just going to start doing it. You're just being random as fuck. It's like, well, you have a hole, right? So you just got to be aware of that. Now that when you're on a training, you're training, right? And it should be no longer than an hour, and that's more like of a top leader. And like you guys really the sweet spot. It should be like 40 minutes. Is a sweet spot. All right. Now, why I'm teaching this is because when I first started, and that's what's funny is when I first started, I was doing 2, 3, fucking 4-hour training shit. I don't know, but I'm just saying. And the thing is I learned to condense it because I started becoming aware of what I'm teaching you, and I started kind of be like understanding that. I started understanding this.
I have a question.
I started understanding that I was I was on my topics, so here's my topics, and I was on my topics, but what I would do is I would stay on my topics and not get to the point of my topics, right? So I would just start rambling too long and I just want to give the meat, right? Like the meat of the topic. I don't have to get every point out. I want to give the meat. It's like on a trade, right? You want to take the meat of the trade. You know what I mean? Your goal isn't to get the entire trade from the very bottom to the very top. It's to take the bulk of the trade, right? So same thing with this. Your goal is, our goal is not to take the whole entire, all of Miami. It's to get the biggest market share, right? So our goal here is to get the biggest meat out of each topic when we have them written down, and you give them the meat of it. Why am I training so bow, right? It's because I'm going topic, bow, meat, bam, next, bam, next, bam, next. And everyone's like, what the fuck? Because I'm giving a training on every individual topic, the meat of so every subject I have is a training. So every single subject, so every stage, okay, sometimes they write just for me, but every stage in my training is a topic, right? And, I'm sorry, every topic and stage is a training, meaning it might appear that I'm giving one big training, which I am, but what I'm saying is that we have what, leadership, right? What else do we have?
Ego.
Right, ego, IG, cool, that's fine. Alright, and let's say phase 1. Alright, cool. So what I'm saying is, look, so leadership training, I'm doing a leadership training. This is all one training from what it looks like, but I'm doing a leadership training. Now get this, when I speak at, for company conventions, do I have a time limit? Yes. So look, we have one topic typically, but look, so training. 1, 2, 3, 4, so 10 minutes, 10-minute training, 10-minute training, 10-minute training,
Wow.
10-minute training, what, 10, 20, 30, 40, what? 40-minute training of all, no fluff on each training. So you're like, holy shit, like bam, like they don't know what's going on because they're not aware of this.
Yeah.
They're just like, holy shit, I just learned something big on something. Holy shit, I just got nailed with something big. Holy shit, and you're just bow, you're just knocking the shit out of them, and then you're like, all right, and then boom, you're off. All right, and now what happens is you got off lit. Sometimes what we end up doing on the training is we don't. It's really easy, especially once you're coming in, especially once you're newer. It's really easy, or not newer, but on the come up, it's really easy to fall into not wanting to get off the training when you know the training should be done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you start just talking, or you just start. So now you're really on there for you, and you've got to learn to detach from that and say, okay, I'm aware, like we're done, it's done. And you know, so as a leader, there's sometimes like you're in a flow state, and it's not necessarily an ego. You're just in a flow state, and you're feeling so good that you think about when you tap in, you're godlike. So you don't want to tap out,
Yeah.
but you got to understand you're being greedy on that training. You get what I'm saying? Like you tapped in. God is like, I gave you what you needed, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? And you're thinking, like, you're being greedy, and you're like, no, I want to do more. He's like, I gave you enough, that's what you needed. And you're like, no. And now you're just rambling, and you're just going. The reason why I'm getting so much, if you guys realize that my trainings now are not that long anymore, they're typically, like I said, about, an hour, 45 minutes, probably more 45 minutes. Isn't it, Jose? But 45 has like actually been the sweet spot. And I even remember said that too. I'm like, my trainings are getting a lot shorter now. So the better I get, the better my trainings are. And so, yeah, so that's that. But just make sure you're understanding what a training is. You're not just going on there. You got to grow your awareness. You got to learn as a leader to grow your awareness on everything. Like, you have to be aware of why you're doing, getting on that call, what you're doing on that call. You You've got to be aware of all that shit. All right. So don't just go in. The reason why we're writing shit down is to heighten our awareness of it. It's so we don't wander. It's right, because what's happening is our conscious is leaving. It's like leaving that topic and it's wandering off. So the point of writing these topic down or writing a game plan down, etc., is to stay aware of it. That's why what I do is I write down the things I know I need to, like as a leader. I write down the things I'm not good at, or I know I need to do and I'm procrastinating it or whatever, is because I want to be aware of it. I want to make sure, because even me as a very aware person, it's easy for my ego to kind of maybe get in the way, and I start procrastinating things. And and then I start realizing that, like, what am I trying to say? I'll start procrastinating something, and then it almost goes into my subconscious mind to the point where it's like I never get to it ever again. And then I'm used to not getting to it. You get what I'm saying? And now it just becomes that. And so a lot of our momentum in business, and Edgar, this might be something for you, is that exact thing. You might have gotten to the stage where it's like, I need to do this, I need to do something, where it's just really everyone in here, not just you, but I'm just talking to you because I know I kind of know where you are in this whole thing. You got to go out and write down, the things that that are going to take you to that next level, and that you don't want to do, because you might have gotten a habit of not doing the thing that you needed to do, and you didn't know you were in the habit, and now you're unaware that habit is there. Does that make sense? So I'm pretty much saying, like, the bad habits, and what I mean by bad habits, you're not really a bad habit kind of person, and I'm more so also talking to camera. What I mean by bad habits is like I just said, like, I have a bad habit of not going into phase one. I'll neglect it. It's like a neglecting thing. I have a bad habit of neglecting phase one. So write down your bad habits of things that you're neglecting.